The penis has these nerves that connect to basically the musculature, the tissues around the prostate. And this specific region, the frenulum, when this is being stimulated, it sends signals to this region, which is also connecting sympathetic nervous system to the brain. It's creating this sort of stress signal. It's saying, hey, like, build up tension, get ready to ejaculate. The tissues, the muscles around the pelvic floor start to tense up, they start to contract. Once this hits the maximum point, it triggers the spasming of the prostate, your fluid releases, you ejaculate. We want to bypass this, not just to increase sexual stamina, to be able to enjoy sex more, but to be able to have these full body experiences of orgasm. We're going to talk about how to move now your aroused sexual energy and pleasure through the body. I was talking yesterday about building, clearing, circulating. And so what I want to talk about is opening up a new pathway for orgasm, because men can have orgasms without ejaculating. It's true. The whole thing is that we got the front channel, the back channel. We want to get our sexual energy to flow upwards. And by doing our practice, doing microcosmic orbit, dragon breathing, qigong, many different ways to work with this channel system, that starts to open this pathway and starts to develop it. The issue for men is that from a young age, we get trained to just send this energy out. Through porn, through that programming, we only experience this outward release of our sexual energy through an orgasm. And a lot of this is also developing a stress-based response to sexual stimulation. The lack of time and space we have around exploring our sexuality, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of like, I gotta do this really quickly. Like, I came of age in the early 2000s. My family had a computer with dial-up internet. You guys remember dial-up internet? Oh, yeah. Who's old enough to remember? It's like, I'd be on my family computer at night when, mom and dad are in bed, like trying to download this thing. And there's this urgency that's like, I gotta get this over with quick. Am I gonna get caught? When you do that over and over and over, it solidifies this stress-based pathway in the nervous system, which is one of ejaculatory release. Our goal is to create a new pathway to allow the arousal to spread throughout the body. Because what happens for men is it can only build up here. You're getting aroused, it's building, but there's tension, there's blockage, it can't move anywhere else, so it has to go outward, has to release. So what if we can open up a pathway so that it can move up? So it's like it's building, but as we're becoming aroused, we're drawing that arousal up. So it builds, but then we draw it, because the whole body can contain much more arousal than the genitals alone. And a huge part of this as well, and this is very, very relevant for women as well, to open up a relaxation pathway in the body. And this also corresponds to the nervous system. We have the sympathetic nervous system. I put these two lines, maybe this isn't quite anatomically correct, but the spine, the sympathetic nervous system is what this is representing, which is our fight or flight response. And so that's what's very strong for men, is this sympathetic nervous system kicks on. A physiological thing that corresponds to this is tension in the pelvic floor, squeezing the pelvic floor involuntarily. And it doesn't help that a lot of people teaching this stuff encourage men to do Kegel exercises to squeeze the pelvic floor. In my experience, this only exacerbates this tension pathway in the body. Let's get even more nuanced with it. The moment is coming. I know you guys knew that this was coming. You're like, it's only a matter of time until Josh will tick on the board. There it is. All right, our inner teenagers are all very happy. So here's something interesting, is that the penis itself has almost like a miniature microcosmic orbit. There's a sympathetic circuit of the nerves, but there's also a parasympathetic pathway, okay? And so the bottom of the penis, especially the frenulum area, it's almost like an extension of, front channels yin, back channels yang. See how the front of the body it connects to the top of the penis. It's like an extension of that front of the body. Whereas the bottom of the penis connects to the sympathetic nervous system. It's like a microcosm of your body. The more that this region right here is stimulated, the more it's gonna have a sympathetic tension response. The more that you can resensitize this top part of the penis, explore this. It can be very valuable. We typically stimulate ourselves in a way that brings us to like highest intensity, highest like edge of ejaculation. So when you explore, like think of it as like a massage. You just kind of like massage the top region of the penis. I find that it actually relaxes my pelvic floor more and helps with that parasympathetic nervous system. This is a subtle thing here I'm talking about, but it's an interesting thing I've never actually heard anyone talk about. I had to discover this on my own, and I encourage you guys to explore this, because that's another thing when it comes to sex, is the less you can stimulate this region of the penis and the more stimulation you can place on this, the easier it's going to be to control your ejaculation. The problem with ejaculation, if that's not already apparent, is that we lose something from it. We lose vital energy. It can lower our hormone levels if you do it too much. Lowers testosterone. Prolactin is released into the bloodstream. And it's fine to do it every now and then, but if you're doing it too much, as we talked about yesterday, we dump our bucket out. By transitioning to no longer associating sex with ejaculation, we're able to keep our life force in our body Use sex as a way to stimulate and activate this energy, build the energy, and instead of discarding it, because this is the problem, is like we create all this, we generate all this energy during sex, but then we ejaculate and we lose it. If we can store that within our body, we're filling our bucket, we're nurturing the body, and talking yesterday about circulating the energy. When we can circulate this arousal through the body, it's moving up, it's energizing the glands, the energy centers, it's going up to the brain. We are healed, we are energized, we are balanced by this energy. It fills us up. Coming back to my point, the key of being able to do this is to have a new pathway of the parasympathetic nervous system, which a physiological correlation is the vagus nerve. If we can be more dominant in the parasympathetic, we experience sexual pleasure, we experience a type of buildup, but it doesn't get stuck here. It doesn't get stuck here in the pelvic floor region in the sympathetic nervous system. It can move through the entire body. And so we experience this whole body buildup of pleasure and subtle energy. How do we do this? We already learned the techniques. We'll go a little bit deeper into it today, but essentially when you are having sex, whether it's with yourself or your partner, solo stimulation is a good tool to learn how to do this. The number one thing is to relax the pelvic floor. I'm not gonna go too into depth on the pelvic floor stuff today because I have a lot of online materials on it and our time is short here. Transitioning to be able to keep the pelvic floor relaxed as well as bringing the energy up by doing, whether it's the orgasmic breathing, the dragon breathing, which is basically like an enhanced version of orgasmic breathing. It's building up in the genitals, building up in your balls. Oh yeah. It's getting thick, it's getting full, but then instead of it getting so heavy that it shoots out, you overflow, you're consistently drawing this up. So it's like, yeah, there's some in my balls, it's building up, but it's also in the rest of my body. How much sexual energy can you hold in your genitals versus your entire body? It's a little bit more. It's a lot more. By doing this, you start to get into these full body states where there's no end to sex, potentially. It doesn't have to end based on when you ejaculate. You can ejaculate now and then, it's fine. The experience of orgasm itself, it's different because a lot of men are looking for this ejaculatory release without the ejaculation, but it's a different state entirely. Some of you who have been practicing for a while, has anyone, just raise your hand if you've started to experience at least like a heightened state of pleasure without ejaculating. No, it's pretty good, it's pretty good. Yeah, on a practical level, it's using the techniques, you're drawing the energy, it's gonna take some practice, it's going to feel awkward at first, but just like anything, you've been doing it this certain way. It's like riding a bike. You learn how to do it once, and then after that, it's habitual. It's unconscious. You don't think about it anymore. You just, whatever form you learned doing it with, that's how you continue doing it. Imagine you've been riding a bike, or maybe like walking is a good example. Like you learned how to walk like this. Do you think that's gonna cause some issues? Well, this is how you're having sex, okay? Metaphorically. So to walk like this, it's like, oh shit, this is weird. And then, okay, I go back, I do it for a little bit, then there's a learning curve here. So it literally is like relearning how to walk. A fundamental thing you've been doing forever, but you have to kind of start over. With that understanding, we can see why this is a process. It's not always easy, but with the right tools and some consistency in your practice, any man can do this.